There are some lessons every child should learn early on: how to cross the street safely, what to do in a fire, when to call 911, or even how to talk to a police officer if they need help. For more than 20 years, Safety Village has been teaching those lessons to kids across Wayne County in a fun, hands-on way. And this week, I sat down with Safety Village Director Rich Cody to talk about this year's free safety camp, why those experiences matter, and the impact the program has had on generations of local families. So slow down for a few minutes and join us for this conversation.
Rich Cody. I'm the director at Safety Village, Wayne County. Safety Village in itself has been at the state hospital grounds for 23 years. Our mission is to provide various types of safety training to youth, usually between 4 and 10 years old, whether it's traffic safety, fire safety, we have a smokehouse, or stranger danger, those type of things.
Do you know when it first started?
There's some debate, but we used to offer a safety town program, which was a canned program back in the 50s. Kiwanis did. It really has gone full-fledged since Safety Village opened up in 2003. We work with all the first responders. I've got a number of first responders on my board: the sheriff's department, the police department, and the fire department, and they provide our training, whether it's for camp that's coming up here in a couple of weeks, or fire safety training, which begins in September. We'll run 900 kids through that. That's kindergartners and first graders. We provide a safe trick or treat at Halloween time, and we've done that for going on 20 years. It's really working with the first responders and getting the kids out to Safety Village.
And so talking about how Safety Camp fits into the overall mission.
It's all encompassing, because when the kids come, we divide them into 3 groups. We provide them yellow shirt, red shirt, or green shirt. And then we flip-flop them around from like 1 hour. They're with the Richmond Police Department learning about stranger danger and poison safety and gun awareness and drug awareness. This year also, Richmond Community Schools is going to participate, and they'll take some of that time with the Richmond Police Department to teach about computer issues and cyber issues that kids are facing today. And after an hour, that group will then go to the smokehouse, and the fire department will teach them about 911, have an escape plan, know your address. And then the next group, then they flip outside, and they'll learn about bike safety, traffic safety, even, to the point to where, if a dog approaches you when you're on your bike, how do you react? And then the afternoon portion, I call it a touch-a-truck, where we have, SWAT vehicles and fire trucks and ambulance. The sheriff's department brings their mounted patrol out, and it's an interaction with the kids. So the kids get to do, use the fire hose and those kind of things. That's in the afternoon portions.
So I was wondering how the mission evolves over the years with technology.
Bringing Richmond Community Schools in this year, computer issues, if you look back when we started, safety issues are still predominantly the same. I mean, you're talking about in fire safety, get out of the house, call 911. Those things haven't changed. Stranger danger, those in traffic safety, we fine tune them, or the police department, fire department, sheriff's department fine tune as the things that they're seeing in today's world. But I think for the most part, a lot has not changed.
Why is the hands-on education important for children?
I think instead of just reading something or watching a video, I think they can live it, they see it. And more important than that, I think, or just as important, is the interaction that they get to have with the first responders. Too many times first responders are looked at in a bad light, and this gives the kids an opportunity to interact with them one-on-one or in a group setting, and it gives them a clear indication of what first responders do and how they're helpful to the kids.
It's kind of developing those relationships with first responders early on.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And talking about, you partner with all these first responders. How have those partnerships developed over the years?
We've always had a number of first responders on our board, and we've had some of those are involved in the training, and some are not. Some of them escalated into leadership positions. For instance, we have the police chief is on our board, the sheriff is on our board. We have a number of other first responders on our board. Knowing what we do and having interaction with them all the time, then they can assign whoever's in their command to come and help us with the training if need be.
And the dates for this year's Safety Kamp?
It's July the 11th and July the 18th, 8:30 to 3 o'clock. We provide lunch, and we're doing it this year at no cost. In the years past, it's been $30 per child. Our board decided this year, let's try to get more kids, and there'd be more kids to be trained than us making, a little bit of money to cover costs. So we've gotten donations to cover costs. Hopefully, the families will take advantage of that, and we'll get all the classes filled up.
And what age group is it?
This is kids going into kindergarten, into first and into second grade. And we have had, because they're siblings, they say, well, I have a daughter or whatever that's going into third grade. Is that okay? Absolutely. We're not going to turn anybody away. And it could be their second, and sometimes the kids come a third time.
Registration. Do you want people to register before, or can they register?
Oh, absolutely. You have to register before, because we get their T-shirts ready, their lanyards with their name tags ready. If there's any special needs that they have, we have some autistic kids. We have kids that have allergies to whatever the case may be. We have one kid this year that is a vegetarian. So I reached out and I said, we have hot dogs for lunch. And they said, we'll bring lunch. It's vitally important that we have all that ready. So when they come drop the kids off that morning, we're ready to hit the ground running.
Is there a deadline for people?
We'd love to have them within, a couple of days prior to camp. Love to have them all, ready prior, even, sooner than that. But we've had walk-ins the day of, and we just make it do, because we don't want to turn anybody away.
What do you hope children take away from these events that Safety Village holds? What do you hope kids learn maybe about themselves?
Yeah, I look at it because, I've got grandkids, and most of my grandkids have gone through the program. It's just like team sports. You have interaction with the other kids, and you have a lot of hands-on interaction with adults. I think that's a life lesson that the kids can take forward. We talk to parents all the time, and the parents will say, my kid always tells me, don't step off the curb, look left, look right, or, know my address. The parents are the ones that are important in this, and that, they have to quiz the kids, or sometimes the kids will tell them, don't do this, or, we need to do it this way. So I think there's a lot of life lessons in what they're doing.
Do you have maybe a specific story or experience through Safety Village that is safe with you?
There's a couple, and actually I've got and it was prior to my time, where there was a newspaper article where kids were responsible for, saving his family, whatnot. They called 911 because of a fire. And, even mentioned at that point that he'd learned from Safety Village. We cater to probably 2,500 kids a year in some aspect, whether it's camp or trick or treat or some of the other activities we have. And we've been doing this 23 plus years. So, there's thousands and thousands of kids, and now we're seeing second generation come through. If we can save one life or one injury, mission accomplished.
How do you ensure that you're creating a safe environment for children when they step into your doors?
One of the things that we found important is we have quantities that, kind of move with the groups. It's really important that we have a female, because half of the kids are girls, half of them are boys. And, when one of them has to use the restroom, or, has a question, whatever, there's that comfort level. Over the years, we've learned, I'm part of a consortium of Safety Villages of North America, learning from what others have done in the past, and listening to the public and parents as well.
So there are more across.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. I was on the board of our Safety Village for about 12 years before I took over 5 years ago as the director. And, obviously I'm biased, but I think we're in the upper echelon of what we offer. In speaking to some of the other people, we've had a number of them that have come to town. We had Westfield Fire Department came last year to see what we do, and to interview me. I've stayed in touch with them because they're building a new fire department. They want to put in a safety village of sorts, and not necessarily duplicate what we do, but use some of our ideas. So it's kind of neat to be able to, share our information with others.
Can I ask what led you to wanting to get involved in this?
When I moved to Richmond in 1984, I had three kids, my oldest being probably 10 years old at the time. And that's why I joined Kiwanis, because what we do with children. And, when Safety Village became a signature project of our Kiwanis Club, it was a natural fit, not only for my kids, but since then, my grandkids. It's something that a lot of people anymore, whether it's in ball teams or Safety Village or whatever, you get too few volunteers. And we find that with our Kiwanis Club. We have 100 members in our Kiwanis Club. And, you have what you call working members and then overall members. I've always, aspired to be one of the working members and be involved in what the activities that we try to do around the community.
What feedback do you hear most from the community about safety knowledge?
Just very positive. I mean, it's neat because I knew coming into Safety Village that we had some shortfalls, and some of that was, what do you do? Where are you at? And shame on us. We were doing a poor job of communicating. Social media came into play, and we blast on social media what we're doing. I think just our awareness and letting people know where we are, what we do. I'd love to show people, Safety Village. I had a lady call me the last week. She had an autistic child that had a bike wreck, and they told him he couldn't ride his bike without a helmet. So we haven't been able to hook up yet, but I said, I've got bike helmets. Reed Health provides our bike helmets for me. And, just those kind of things is, if it's a one-off or we can, do it 100 people at a time or whatever the case may be, we just want awareness in the community that we're there and what we're doing.
Do you have a favorite part of Safety Camp that you'd like to share? Is there anything that you look forward to?
It's the repeat, students that come. I've stood at the gate at Halloween one year and kids come up and give you a big hug and say, I know you. And I said, did you come through camp or did you come through our fire safety? Yeah. Well, what number do you call? Said 911. Just seeing, that perpetuate and knowing that they've learned something, knowing that they not necessarily recognized me, but that in itself is important as well, because, I've become the face that the kids have recognized because it's a constant, and that's neat for me.
Do you have any hopes for the future of Safety Village going forward?
We work with Richmond State Hospital because we lease our grounds from them. We've talked in the past about expanding the grounds. We have 30-some buildings out there that our funds actually come from those businesses leasing on an annual basis. So we've talked about expanding. And, since I've been director, I think I've convinced the board that instead of expanding the grounds, let's expand our training. Let's get into different aspects of safety. Let's offer more activities. Sheriff's Department, for instance, I think this is the third annual Easter egg hunt, and we hadn't done that before. We work with Firefly with a Touch a Truck event, and they bring in not-for-profits. So we've partnered with a couple dozen not-for-profits, and they come out and have activities there. So we want to expose the public not only to our grounds, but to other not-for-profits and give the community a place that they can come out and learn something.
Is there a specific message that you want people to know, whether it's about Safety Camp or Safety Village overall?
If you're not aware of who we are, shame on us. Give us a call, email us. We'd love to show off what we do. Communicate all of the time with our partner or tenant partners, those businesses that are out there. And when I took over as a director, that was one of the things that, was lacking, was that they weren't really aware of what we were doing. So now we've got them involved as well. They pretty much, not all of them, but most of them will participate in trick or treat. They'll offer to help them clean up, just different things that I think that, it will evolve even more so. We've partnered with a number of different groups, community service, people that need to provide community service for whatever reason. We partnered with them a few years ago. So if I need weeds pulled or things of that nature, I have a contact there. And I think it's just collaborating with different groups around town and seeing if there's a fit. And I think that's important. One of the neat things that just happened recently is First English Lutheran Church adopted our church building. And our church building has been there since day one, and it was multi-denominational. We weren't getting any annual lease for it. Nobody was maintaining it. And First English Lutheran Church stepped up and says, we'd like to adopt it. And over the last couple of weeks, they've come in, they've spruced it up, they've painted, they put in new flowers and plants, and they're going to maintain it for the next couple of years. Plus, they gave us some money, which always helps. But those are the things that are really neat, is just being able to get things done with the resources that we have in a community, because it's a great community. We had one of our board members actually as a member of the church, and he was on the church council and knew that they had community outreach programs, and met with them. And I met with Pastor Chip a month or so ago, or maybe longer than that, and came out and just kind of put ideas together and said, hey, we'd like to do this. And actually, just as of Saturday, a sign went up that said, sponsored by First English Lutheran Church. We're always looking for opportunities. We have one empty lot right now, and we have a lease agreement in a potential vendor's hand for them to determine if they want to come in or not. And then we're full again. So that's always a neat thing.
I know we touched on some of the programs and events coming up. Can you go back over all those that are coming up after Safety Kamp?
Yeah, we've got scheduled right now, which we normally do it the first Monday or the Monday prior to Halloween. We'll have our trick or treat. I think this is our 19th or 20th trick or treat. I've talked with a group that does bicycling around the area, 2 or 3 different people. We've talked to Boy Scouts in the past. We've never put it together yet, but it's just trying to coordinate it. I'd like to try to do something in the early fall and possibly September with a bike safety program. So that's not right now on paper, but that's something we'd look at. The end of September, and for about 6 weeks thereafter, we bus in kindergartners and first graders, and not from just Richmond or Wayne County. We do across the state line. We've had groups from Shelbyville, Connorsville, and we'll do between 35 and 40 fire safety classes that take about an hour each. We do 35 or 40 every year, which is 800 to 900 kids. So that'll come up at the end of September, the first part of November. Things kind of slowed down in the wintertime, but then we'll pick back up and do the touch a truck with Firefly. We'll do the Easter egg hunt. We've worked in the past with Birth to 5. They've had events out there, but we're open to suggestions.
Is there anything else that we haven't touched on that you want to go over?
It's hard to explain to people either audio or video even without them seeing. I invite the public to contact us or share in the events that we have, and become a part of who we are and reap the benefits through their own families as well. I enjoy it. I truly do. I mean, I just when I retired from Richmond Power and Light and being on the board, it was kind of determined that at some point in time I would take over as a director, and it was kind of quicker than I thought because our director at the time had to leave for a full-time position. And it's one of those that I'm picking up our T-shirts when we leave here and taking them. I was out there all last week pulling weeds and, sprucing things up, getting ready for camp. I need to check bike tires. It's just those things that gets me out of the house, keeps me busy. There's a benefit to it. I do it for a purpose, and it's because it needs to be done, and I know the impact that we have in the community.
Are you always looking for volunteers?
Yeah, we are, and a lot of times it's funny because I have a sign-up sheet in my truck. We Kiwanis meets every Friday, and I have a sign-up sheet for camp. And I always preface, I don't want people to be discouraged and say, well, I volunteered and then you didn't use me, because it's one of those that you don't know until you get there. It's a funny thing because we used to get twice a year cleanup. We'd do mulch and trim and do all those things. My involvement with the community service personnel from Wayne County has kind of pulled all of us old guys out and having to go out there and sling mulch. But it's one of those that we try to get people to help. And now we get people that are contacting us. Our Kiwanis group has an offshoot, and I forget what the name of the group is, but it's IU East students. And then we also have the grade school group. and their parents and those kids will come out and help with different things. So they're reaching out. So it's kind of embracing what we do, the different factions of the community.
My last question, do you have, like you said, you're partnering with Richmond Community Schools. Are there other partnerships with schools in the area?
The schools in the area, Richmond Community Schools has a building at Safety Village. When we do our fall fire safety classes, it's not only Richmond schools, it's Centerville, Northeastern, Hagerstown, Western Lane, Seton, Friends. So I reach out to all of them and get them applications for camp in the spring, so they distribute. I also reach out to Connersville and some of the others. So yeah, I mean, it's Richmond is, by nature of them being at Safety Village, plus we have a Richmond Community Schools employee on our board, so that information gets disseminated there. But we're open to any and all schools because that's a targeted audience. We don't want to put a burden on anybody. It used to be that I'd call the schools and say, how many applications do you want me to drop off? And they would say, well, we have 4 kindergarten classes of 20. So and then take them and give them to them. Well, now I just email it to them and then they print them. And so we developed that relationship with them over the years. So now after 5 years, I'm starting to see more and more of that repetition and meeting the parents, or grandparents or whatever the case may be. I couldn't be more proud of what we do. I've said it before, but absolutely could not do what we do without the support of our tenant partners and the first responders. It's vitally important. We just I facilitate what they bring to the table. Thank you for watching this episode. Rich told me after this interview was over that he really enjoys giving tours of the Safety Village campus if you're interested in getting involved or getting your child involved. And please be sure to head over to thehometownheadlines.com for this story and many more. Stay kind, stay connected, and keep looking for good.